Gauteng Health MEC Qedani Mahlangu has submitted her response to a draft report into the death of 36 mentally ill patients who were moved from the Life Esidimeni facilities. Mahlangu had been granted extra time to respond, but the DA in turn, they say the number of deaths could be much higher.
Once a safe haven to 2,000 mentally ill patients, but Life Esidimeni has since closed its doors. Gaunteng Health ended its contract with the facility to save costs. In June last year, about 1,300 patients were moved from here to different NGOs in the province. According to the Gauteng Health Department, 36 died. 5 months later, families are still waiting for answers. Nxumalo spent 2 months searching for her 50-year-old sister. She wants those responsible for Virginia Makapela's death to be held accountable.
Killed my sister. I don't know how she moved and how she was when she was being moved around. I'm still, after all these months, still waiting for a post-mortem to know what happened. So for us, the report will do everything in our, it will be that closure that we need to know what happened, and how did she die? Because I don't even know where she passed on.
But the DA believes the number of fatalities is much higher than reported.
There's been leaks from the Health Ombudsman report, and it appears that it could be in as many as 80 patients. Now, this is very, very distressing, obviously, and I think we need to have this report released publicly as soon as possible so that we do know the truth.
The Health Department wouldn't comment.
You need to give the Ombudsman space to conduct that investigation and complete, so that when the report comes, then we should be in a position to can look at the recommendations and act as per what is recommended there.
It's not clear when the Health Ombudsman's final report will be released. Mahlangu, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Now, for more on this story, we are joined by Nxumalo, who lost a family member during the transfer of patients from the Life Esidimeni Healthcare Centre to various NGOs around Gauteng. A very good morning to you, Christine, and thank you for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you.
Just give us your story a little bit. What happened to your sister? And ultimately, I think the question is, were you consulted in the movement, this whole process?
Well, my sister was at Life Esidimeni for about 2 years. I remember in 2016, January, there was a public meeting which the Department of Health had organized. And that's when we were told about the closure. So in all this time, we were not told prior to that. And basically, we tried. Obviously, we pleaded with the department saying, please, you cannot close this facility. It's probably the best facility. And my sister was sent there from Charlotte Maxage because the doctors, they had recommended this specific place. So for it to close after 2 years was, was sad. But how I was informed was basically I received an SMS on the 30th of June, which said my sister is being moved, the facility is closing. And that's basically how, and she was being moved to Cullinan. That's how I was informed about my sister moving.
And cause of death, the information emanated from out of that. Has it been communicated to you? Do you know?
No, I don't know. In fact, for me to actually get my sister's body, I had to get the police involved because it was impossible to get the body from my sister's body in order for me to bury her. And in that process, I had to ask for post-mortem, which I'm still waiting for the results of.
Why did you have to get the police involved to get your sister's body?
Because where my sister was, and that was with Ethel Ngube, Precious Angels, she kept running around. She wouldn't meet with us. She wouldn't show us where my sister had died. She literally wouldn't have conversations one-on-one with us. So we've never met Ethel. And also to get my sister's body, we were sent from one place to another. And eventually the only way we could get her was to actually get the police involved.
Now, since the passing of your sister, have you met with the department at all?
Look, we went and protested outside. We've been trying to get. We've sent a memorandum to Qedani to say, you know, we need answers, we need to know what's going on. Because, you see, after my sister died, we actually realized there were a lot more people in horrible conditions. So our concern was how many more people would need to die. Because at the facility where I found my sister, there were 6 other bodies there, and apparently they had been there for 2 months from the very same NGO.
And no cause of death, you have no idea. Do you believe that the number is maybe a little bit bigger than you are being led to believe?
Well, we initially suspected in the region of about 60. Over the weekend, we heard a new number, which is 80. So at this point, I can believe it's higher, but I will not speculate on the actual figure.
This investigation into this entire scandal as it is now, do you feel it's been handled adequately?
Well, look, we've had interviews with the Ombudsman. And to be honest with you, in the entire process, since this has happened, he's probably the one person that has guided us properly as to and would tell us what is going on. And he assured us that everything that is being done is done with confidentiality, and that nothing will interfere with the process for as long as he's in charge. So he's given us his guarantee, and so far we haven't had any reason to doubt him. So we're hoping and praying that, you know, all goes according to plan.
What would you like to see happen next?
I would like the report to be released. That's the first thing, as soon as possible, because I think we've waited too long for this. But I would like to have the people who actually made the decision to move the families as rushed as they did, which actually led to some of them dying, to actually be held accountable. I really believe that it was almost like a mass murder, really, in our view, because a lot of people can't die like that for no reason.
Who do you think is accountable for these deaths?
Well, the first person would be the MEC. She's at the helm. She must have signed off she must have made decisions. And we've tried talking to her, we've had interactions with her, and she was adamant, she was very arrogant about it. So yes, as arrogant as she was then she must now be arrogant enough to actually take the responsibility now. When
you say she was very arrogant, what did she do? What did she say to you guys that was maybe arrogant and insensitive within this case?
The entire manner in which this whole thing was done. I mean, she was not consulting with us. She was basically coming to tell us we are closing the facilities. That's the first thing that actually was wrong in the manner in which she did it. There was no consultation, and the time period in which she gave us was ridiculous. There was no way they could have consulted with each patient and actually assist each patient as to where they need to go. And also, when we told her about our deaths and the department, they didn't care. They didn't show concern. Even her apologies were cold, and they were not of a person who actually cares.
So you believe that there's a real insincerity factor in the way that the MEC has dealt with this whole episode?
Very much so.
When the report is now released, do you feel, as the family, that this will be the first step in getting you a little bit of peace and closure, if one can call it that?
That's actually the perfect way to put it. It would be the first step for us, because we really want to close this. It's not something we want to, you know, keep on doing over and over again. Yes, we need to put our family, yes, we've buried them, but they're not at peace. And we're also not at peace. So we need to get to a point of peace.
Christine, thank you for coming in, and I know it's an emotional scenario for you and doing this difficult interview this morning. Thank you for giving us an idea what you guys have been going through with regards to this particular incident. Christine Nxumalo lost a family member, her sister, during this entire ordeal. Thank you for coming.